Molly's.
Okay, Ezra Marcus,
What's up, guys?
the plucky millennial journalist speaking truth to power.
Am I?
I don't know, is that an accurate characterization?
I don't know. Power might be a bit of a reach, but millennial is accurate.
Millennial is undeniable. How do you explain what you do to the people that you accost in social scenarios?
I guess I just say I'm a freelance reporter. If I really want to sound fancy, I'd say investigative reporter. But what even is that? I don't know.
And I feel like at this point you are probably more widely recognized for your, like, quote, serious kind of journalistic work. But at least when I first came across you, it would have been like a good 7 or 8 years ago when you were on the music writing beat. Can you tell us a little bit about the work you were doing back then? Yeah,
I mean, I honestly got into the media and what I do now via music. I was, in college, and before that, I just always wanted to be a music writer. Blog, late 2000s blog era, all of that, and I was like, yeah, the height of what I could achieve one day would be to like write, blurbs on like a Pitchfork best of SoundCloud list or something like that. And in college, I interned at Vice for Noisy, their RIP.
Was it like peak era Vice?
It was like when they were still at the North Williamsburg office, not the South Williamsburg one, which was really a different time. It was like I was sort of there. I feel like I got the last like little gasp of the sort of like psychotic era before it went really corporate. Like my first year there was like, it was a Christmas party, and they just handed out envelopes with $1,500 in cash to everyone, which I had never seen anything like that before. I was like 20. I was like, let's fucking go. The media is awesome.
Yeah.
And
the best part is that lasted.
It lasted. It's still like that.
Yes, correct.
But with more cash.
But, and you were just doing like listicles at this point?
Yeah, I mean, I was like, I was interviewing artists, whatever, writing like stupid blog posts about this or that. It was, I don't know, it was like, I feel like a kind of awesome moment. I mean, it was like 2012, I guess. So it was like right when, I don't know, a certain kind of rap music and electronic music was like all happening, and I was like felt like I was on the ground floor for it. I was in college, and I was just like, this is crazy. I get to like go, interview Paul Wall at like 3 p.m. for school credit or something. And I don't know, I kept doing it. I kept doing music journalism in one form or another. And I was, after college, at Vice, at a few other places. I would write for the Fader. I would write for, where else? I don't even remember. Pitchfork sometimes. And I feel like I was like into, a certain kind of like dance club music, underground rap thing that was really emergent at that time, and now is like, pretty dominant, that those things would have crossover, that like kids in their basement would be making, Jersey club or footwork in Australia or what have you. But at the time that felt very exciting, the kind of global, club music phenomenon, Caribbean stuff, UK. So that, and that was, it was super exciting to me. And I was also throwing parties at the time. I'd been doing it in college, just like booking shows with the school money that they would give us. And then I kept doing it. I was like, well, let me see if I can do this like in New York with like my own money, which was
what are some like lineups that you put together?
Crazy proposition. Yeah. I mean, I would try and do like, a mix of, like a vocalist, like usually a rapper, and then a bunch of DJs. And a lot of this was with, Suze, the large from Mixpack, and I kind of had like an ongoing party series. I'm almost embarrassed to say what my side of that was called, but it was like a collab. It was just like me and her. And I remember the first one we did, I want to say it was like Sicko Mobb, Suicide Year, Darky Freaker.
Fucking hell.
Great lineup.
We did Mum Dance and Beat King. We did Cupcake's first New York show.
Damn, that was an era.
That's so sick. You put Sicko Mobb.
Yeah, it was Sicko Mobb's first New York show.
Did I go off? Surely.
It went insane, yeah. Somebody's had a fire extinguisher in the middle of their set and shut it down. But I brought them back eventually. I did DJ Nate, his first New York show.
Hell yeah.
I was playing some Nate last night. Well received.
It's aged like a fine Bordeaux.
Is that
Track
Gucci
Geniuses.
Goggles era, or
It was
is
like-
that Footwork era?
He played a little bit of both. I feel like by
Right,
that
right.
point, because it was like 2015, 16, he was mostly more into the Gucci Goggles
Bop.
thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I was obsessed with Bop. I was like, this is the craziest music ever made.
Who else was big in Bop apart from Sicko Mobb and DJ Nate? I don't remember.
There was
any
a
other
bunch
artists.
of like one-offs. Like there was like some guy called like MBE. There was Flea was some guy. I'm for dredging this up, but who else? There was
Rat Pack, Mini Stepper,
Flophouse.
Flophouse.
It was yeah, exactly. There was some group called Most Hated that had an amazing song called Nina, actually. Yeah. Bop music.
Did you hear about DJ Nate like being seemingly paralyzed for life, but somehow recovering?
No.
I think this was like a few years ago. I forget exactly what it was that happened. I think maybe he got shot and like a bullet lodged in his spine, and the initial prognosis was that he'd be like paralyzed from the waist down, like he's in like a wheelchair. And then miraculously he managed to like regain his ability to walk and presumably footwork.
What
And
a
Bop.
miracle. And
Bob,
Bop, yeah.
Well, he's a chosen one. He's one of those guys. He's one of those guys who like anyone who is like remotely into the kind of like extended like sphere of music that we all like respects, like reveres deeply. But he's also one of those guys who, for whatever reason, wasn't able to like capitalize in a way that he, you know, his music arguably deserves.
He was like way too early, and he was like so not like palatable, I think, or interested in participating in the kind of like greater Red Bull industrial complex
No.
of the era. He was an iconoclast for sure.
Yeah. It's because I don't remember there being much talk of him crossing over at all with like the like Tech Life extended universe.
No, not at all. It felt like a completely separate thing in some way, which I never understood. I guess because by the point they were getting their kind of like festival slots, he was like making this insane bop music.
Yeah.
Was he a lot younger than the rest of those guys? Was he maybe sort of 16 when he was doing the Bangs and Work shit?
I think so, but a lot of them were too, if I recall.
Oh, okay.
I mean, Rashad was a bit older, but I think a lot of those guys were like kind of came up around the same time, like
Right,
late 2000s.
okay.
Like they were all teenagers doing it.
right, okay.
I booked Rashad too in college. He was
Oh,
sick as fuck.
goddamn. Was there like a point where, because do you still book shows at all?
Not at all.
So yeah, that's from that.
I had a couple like sort of hilariously disastrous things happen where I was like, I need to cut it.
Yeah. What was the detail of some of those disasters?
I mean, there was the one that was it was an awesome show we did that just lost a bunch of money, but it was Spice and Tink.
Damn.
And a ton of other stuff. I forget who, but it was at like Knockdown Center. You know, it was a huge show, super ambitious, made a bunch of money, lost a bunch of money, whatever. But I was just like, okay, I'm not equipped to be in a position to potentially lose, you know, 10K on something. I mean, there were some shows like where, like, I feel like All in All is like one of those things where it's like, you know, longtime gambler, like runs the numbers and was like, you basically break even. Like we did one show that was like Zomby and Jack Donaghy. This wasn't with Mixed Pack. It was one of my friends.
This is crazy.
And DOS. It was Zombie, Jack Donaghy, DOS at China Chalet. We cleared like 5 figures for sure.
Nuts.
But then we did this one. I mean, this was okay. Yeah, I'll just tell the story. I've never been quite sure if I'm like supposed to or allowed to, but it was pretty funny. The background is like 2018. I booked Katie Got Bands for a New Year show. It was like with Daisy and Juliana Huxtable, and it was sick. I mean, it was like an awesome show. Went great. Katie's manager sort of set the whole thing up, and no complaints. And then a few months later, the manager hits me up, and he was like, "Yo, how would you like to book Migos?" And I was like, I mean, it sounds sick. No, I mean, this was like right after Bad and Bougie came out. They were like biggest act in the country.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, how much? And he was like 35 racks, which, you know, I don't have that, but that sounded like in the realm, that sounded like super cheap. Made sense to me that I could like find somebody to back that. And like that I'd make the money back on that. I mean, for like a, you know, nationally successful, whatever. So I got, a production company and a media partner and all of this. And like, I put together this insane lineup that it was going to be like Migos and was it, Wolf Eyes? It was like one of the guys from Wolf Eyes.
Around Bad and Bougie era? That's
I was
nuts.
like, let's just go like retarded with it.
Yeah.
And then the production company, you know, the guy's like, okay, they want $20K up front. Production company wires it. We're all ready to go. And I'm just like, oh, can I talk to Migos manager to like, you know, coordinate the announcement? And the guy just doesn't respond. And I was like, okay, like I'm gonna send you a few more emails before I freak out. Like no response. And then I had someone else who actually knew the Migos manager reach out to them, and they were like, we've never heard of this. Also, what are you talking about? Our fee's like $350K. Like, well, you just got scammed. And yeah, so the guy had basically just been like, let me like hit a lick on this like like, you know, 23-year-old white kid.
Damn.
And just like ultimately
Why is it always the honkies who are persecuted?
we suffer. The production company, I believe, ended up hiring a PI who tracked him down, and I think he got arrested. So there you have it. But don't think any of the money was recovered. Not sure. Anyway, that was at that point I was like, what am I doing again? Like, why do I do this?
Yeah.
What, like, I don't think I'm like cut out for this cutthroat concert promotion business.
Yeah.
Were you angling to be a full-time promoter rather than
Hell
journalist?
no. I was just like, this is
Just fun.
fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked, you know, I love the parties. Like it was an awesome time. There was so much, especially at that time, I felt like there was like such a vacuum of, especially rap music. Like no one was bringing, you know, I mean, there would be like some boring ass show at SOBs or something, but nobody was combining, you know, a rapper, somebody, it would be like, okay, Merlot from the UK and then like Beat King on the same line. Like no one was, I didn't feel like that was the stuff I liked. It was the intersection of those two things, and it wasn't being super represented. But it was also, I mean, and there were some really good venues I felt like at the time for it. Like Trans Picos was really good. We would do China Chalet, we would do Palisades, and at a certain point, a lot of that closed, and what's replaced it is like, you know, super legit, like elsewhere nowadays kind of places, but it had less of the raw appeal to me.
I feel like electronic music in New York in the last sort of 5 to 10 years has like professionalized in a way that it wasn't before. Is that fair to say? I'm saying this as an outsider.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I'm pretty tapped out nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think that in the last decade, there was a pretty regular set of like hectic underground parties and spots that were like really after hours and really kind of just in someone's house or something.